Hello, fans of Let's Be Real. Welcome to another episode of the Let's Be Real podcast. Today, we're going to be previewing the match day 26 at the Santiago Bernabeu against Girona. And today, I'm joined by Sahil to have this preview. And just before we go, just a word to our sponsors, Manscaped. They're the pioneers of male grooming. So anything that you need to shave, down from your face to down there, check out Manscaped and you can use our code LBR20. I repeat, LBR20 to get a 20% discount from Manscaped. And without further ado, let's just dive into things. And Sahil, how are you doing?
Hey man, ecstatic after that victory against Man City. We were completely dominant there, and yeah, we're just waiting for some of that form to show through in La Liga now because La Liga is a complete different story, isn't it? We've sort of lost our lead, and Barca seem to be on the up again. So yeah,
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Like Barcelona seems to be on the up again. And yeah, so far so good. Like we've had the draws, when we speak about the Champions League and the Man City tie. So now we had the draws and we're being paired with our neighbors Atletico Madrid. How do you feel about that tie, Sahil?
I feel like it's a lot less like volatile of a tie than what Leverkusen would have been because we know what Athletic are and we know what they're going to bring to the table. Like we face them literally twice every season. But the problem is not knowing what Atleti do. It's like you know they're going to do it, but they still manage to find a way to do it. And if you speak about the last couple of seasons, Atleti have sort of been our kryptonite in La Liga, right? We haven't found a way to get past them that often. Simeone just he's brought back that mantra of his where Real Madrid just cannot find a way, to suppress it little. So the noisy neighbors will be there. We still have to face them in La Liga, I believe, and then no, we just faced them in La Liga, and we still have to face them a couple of times. The one caveat will be obviously that we're doing the first leg at home, so yeah. But I mean, obviously, we would have preferred it away.
I mean, I actually like kind of like I'm on opposite side of the fence. You said like it's a less volatile, matchup compared to Leverkusen, but I feel like,
Yeah,
considering all the facts that you mentioned, after that, I feel like Leverkusen was a better choice because we've seen that Real Madrid in the Champions League, if we play teams that come to play football, we can, perform against these guys. But one thing we've seen, as you rightly pointed, like Atletico Madrid have been, a sort of kryptonite across the past almost 3 years, I'd say. Because, okay, we can talk about last season, what happened, last season. We can talk about, this season as well, even if you do get to, win, you have to win by giving something, by paying a price. And I mean, I just don't feel comfortable playing with Atletico Madrid because it's, there were two teams that I don't want to play in the Champions League this year. One of them was Atletico Madrid and the other is Inter Milan. So like these are the two teams that, I kind of feel skeptical about playing.
not even Liverpool.
No, I feel like Liverpool, like I mean, it's open market. I honestly feel confident playing anybody that's gonna play football, you understand? But the
Right.
point is like Inter Milan only score the amount that is needed to win and concede only the amount that is needed to lose, you understand? So that's the thing, like they
Yeah.
don't allow you to score a lot, they don't score also a lot. So it's very difficult. And then for Atletico Madrid, they're just gonna put you in, they're gonna draw you into everything that's away from the football itself. The build up to the game, it's gonna be about the referees, this, the derby, Simeone, the whole issue around Vinicius Jr. and the fans for Atletico. So like everything around the tie is going to be about everything except for what happens between the four white lines. So this is the reason
Yeah.
why actually I did not want, to draw Atletico Madrid. And then of course I mentioned about defensive nous of Inter as well. So these were the two teams that I was really skeptical of. I really felt, like Leverkusen would have been a challenge, could be a challenge, is a challenge, but I just felt like, if we come to play, like we're not going to lose against Leverkusen because, something, like I don't know, there's a issue of the pitch or distraction or a foul there
No,
or not.
exactly.
We're going to lose because they were better on the day than we were. You understand? But
Right.
the point
Right.
is, when you play Atletico Madrid, you might still lose by being the best team on the pitch.
Yeah. And we know a lot about that, don't we?
Exactly. So this is the point. So that's why actually, and you go into this game, and even if you're able to go through, like you literally have to give your soul up. You understand? You have to
Yeah.
sacrifice so much that you might eventually be short-handed because it's a game that's so emotionally charged. And we've seen with the indiscipline that we've seen our players display this season. It's a game that we might end up at the end of two legs, and all of a sudden Vinicius is suspended for the for the quarterfinals, or I don't know, God forbid, Kylian Mbappe is injured for the quarterfinals. So these are the things that actually play in my mind that I kind of feel like maybe Atletico Madrid wasn't the best of opponents, but as you also said, which is something that I rightly pointed, like these are people that we know what they are. So at least there is no element of surprise there. It's just about
Yeah.
how can we, how can we, after I say, how can we like, find a way to get past them. But away from our tie in the UCL, like which of the games are you looking forward to seeing among the other draws?
Uh, Dortmund got a easy tie. So did Barca. Uh, I think Arsenal is interesting, and obviously PSG is the big one. That'll be like the big fish. But yeah, it's like PSG. They're a hit or a miss in the Champions League, but this season they seem to be going well.
Yeah,
But
but
I'm more
Paris is
looking
playing against
forward to
Liverpool as well, though. They play second leg
yeah,
at Anfield as well. So that's a very, very, very big,
very big tie. Yeah,
uh,
and yeah, who are we gonna meet if we beat
the
Athletic?
winners between Arsenal and PSV.
Yeah, so obviously you would prefer PSV, but we haven't played Arsenal in a while. I can't lie.
I mean, man, I actually prefer Arsenal. I actually want to take my chances against them, and I honestly do not
Again,
see.
they're gonna come to play football, so you're right about that. Well, they're
Even
more
away from that,
suited,
like I kind of feel like like this season Arsenal has. I mean, I fell in love with Arteta's team like 3 years ago, like 2 seasons ago, and
right?
last season more or less, but like that last 2 seasons, I really fell in love with the team. Where unfortunately they weren't able to, edge out Man City to the title. Well, I felt like they were a very good team, but unfortunately this season I've been a bit skeptical about them. So I just, and as you said, we haven't faced Arsenal in a while, and because the point is like when you look at the draw, our side of the draw actually is a very heavy, side of the draw. Because when you go through now, you have a chance of facing like if we go through Atletico Madrid, if Arsenal gets the job done, we can face Arsenal. If Liverpool
Yeah,
get the job done on their side, we face Liverpool in the semi-final, and then most likely you have either Barcelona or Bayern Munich on the other hand waiting
Bayern
for
Munich,
you
yeah.
there as well is there. So like the side of the draw looks really really heavy. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, I mean, I don't think we've ever won the Champions League in an easy way, man. I've always remembered it's, the Bayern Munich, the Juventus, the Borussia Dortmunds, and what's he called? Atletico Madrid. These are the guys
Yeah,
that we played, year in, year out, year in, year out, So
yeah.
it's not new, like it's something that, well, personally for me, like, I am looking forward to the Liverpool Paris Saint-Germain tie. And I think another tie that's quite interesting, I think it's the Bayern Munich Bayern Leverkusen tie. Because I think
Oh yes,
they've already played 3 times this season, so I think it's going to be the fourth time that they're gonna play each other. So it could be quite
right.
an interesting game.
And
Well,
we know Leverkusen aren't like remotely close to the team that they were last season.
of course,
But
definitely. I mean, I think right now they're like around 7 or 8 points behind
yeah,
Bayern actually
yeah,
in the league right now.
true.
But
And
again, the
Bayern
interesting thing
started
is
the
to
season slow, but they have caught on.
yeah, of course. I mean, the thing we have to notice that like Bayern Leverkusen had like an immortal season last year. They lost one
Exactly.
game in the final of the Europa League. So of course it's going to be always impossible to repeat that. And more importantly, they actually haven't lost against Bayern, I think, in the last 6 meetings or something like that. Since Alonso took over, more or less, Bayern
Right.
haven't beaten Leverkusen. So this is going to be, I mean, even this season, they've all played draws. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how, Company and, and Alonso are going to, prepare the guys for that game. So I think it could be a very interesting, matchup to see how that goes. But yeah, I mean,
Definitely.
the Champions League is, a story for another time. Let's get back, to the league, where we have pressing matters. We haven't won in three. So we haven't won in three. Like, take me through that. It's been Espanyol 1-0 loss. It's been, Atletico
Athletic.
Madrid with the draw, and then it's the last game that we played, I guess, where Jude Bellingham got sent off, wrongly or rightly, whatever that is. But just take me through that. How has it been the last 3 games without being able to win?
It's been even more frustrating because there's a lot of things that are outside the players' hands, right? You can blame the players to a certain extent. You can blame the tactics to a certain extent, right? But we've actually gone out and played good football here and there. It's a combination of things that were outside our hands, which obviously includes the referee, and a sprinkle of misfortune. So, in moments where we would have expected to make the difference, and for example, where we did in the Champions League against Man City, we were decisive, right? Every chance that we got. But in those games, especially the Espanyol one, I feel like there were moments where we could have really edged the game out, but we weren't able to in the first half, especially. And then Atleti was again very frustrating to watch towards the end. because we knew we were due a goal, but it just wasn't coming. So I feel like this should be an upliftment in spirit, the Champions League victory, and if they can bring through some of that desire to win in La Liga, especially against Girona. Girona is a team who were doing incredibly well last season. Again, haven't been able to replicate that sort of form this season, but they're always a threat. They're always up there to play, exciting attacking football as well. They're going to have a lot more of the ball than other lower league sides, and also like I believe they are owned partly by the Man City group. So
Yep.
I think there might be additional fuel for them to reprise the revenge on us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about fuel, but I feel like, the point is you rightly pointed about that, like Girona is not doing as well as they did last year. And, they lost their star striker to AS Roma, Artem Dovik. They
Dovik,
lost they lost Savinho
Man
to
City.
Man City as well, so it's been quite yeah, their attack line has been quite depleted. And I think they also lost I forgot the name of they lost a midfielder as well to Bayern Leverkusen. I forgot the name of the guy.
Yeah, I forget his name.
They lost a midfielder to Bayer Leverkusen as well, which was very instrumental to them as well. So they've lost a lot of key players there. So I think it's understandable. And last year we all know that they overperformed, like they were third in the league ahead of I think Atletico Madrid. So it was
Right.
it was quite an overachievement from their side. So I think because of that, they were always going to get back to the norm. And this season though they're 10th in the league. However, I think they're like 6 points or 5 points behind sixth place, and
Yeah.
like sixth place takes them back to Europe as well, in the Europa League. So uh, it's not the best, but I wouldn't say it's not too bad as well, considering what's happening. But yeah, I mean, it's not looking like it was last season for them. So that's why, I feel like you talk about fuel. I just feel like right now they just don't have enough firepower, to be able to, hurt Real Madrid right now. But we're coming back off the back of a very, a very morale boosting victory. And I feel like these are the games that you need to be worried about, because like any lapse in concentration,
Yeah.
or rather, there is a huge chance for a last lapse in concentration because of that, high that you're still feeling of, eliminated City and the way we eliminated City. So that's why I feel
Yeah.
like this game has a potential to be a Bayern-esque, although it's at the Bernabeu, you understand. But I feel like there is some elements there, and also like when you also include the situation that we're missing Jude Bellingham in this game as well, he's gonna serve too much suspension, which is interesting. I actually thought the suspension in Spain also goes to the cup, but apparently like you don't serve suspensions in the cup. He's gonna miss two league games rather than the cup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's gonna be available to play against Sociedad like on Wednesday or on Thursday, something like that. And then like
He
next
is going
weekend
to
he's
be
gonna,
playing against Sociedad, right?
yeah, he's gonna be available to play Sociedad, and then
Okay.
he's gonna miss the game against Real Betis.
Right. Right. So yeah, that's definitely good because Sociedad is a game we have to win. A double
But I
leg
mean, when you
in.
consider Sociedad is a two-legged game, so
Hmm.
I feel like
Still, man.
there's
Because
always a
Copa del
chance,
Rey down the years, bro. Weird things happen in the Copa del Rey for some reason. We always go into these games as favorites, and then we go in even with good form. But something out of the blue happens, and the other team is suddenly on top. I remember like it was 3 or 4 years ago, and we were looking good, and I think Martin Odegaard was with Sociedad, and we lost start to them. That was Zidane season, I think, 1920. That was like four
Yeah,
or
yeah,
five
yeah,
years ago.
yeah,
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 that
yeah. I
was.
remember what
And
you're
then
saying. So
obviously we lost to that second tier team a couple years
yeah,
ago.
yeah, we lost to
Hurt.
like is it Alarcon or something like, or
Ah,
Alcoyano,
yeah,
something like that. I
Alcoyano,
can't remember the
Alcoyano.
name. Alcoyano, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
These defeats down the years really hurt, and
Uh,
we haven't won the Super Copa this year, so we have to get the Copa del Rey.
Yeah, but I just rely on the fact that the second leg of the Copa is at the Bernabeu, so we're gonna play Sociedad. Sociedad isn't the highest, isn't a high flying team right now. So I do feel like
Right.
the firepower we have should be able to see, when we go places Sociedad for the first leg, we should be able to at least remain in the tie, and in the second leg, we hope to finish them off at home. But yeah, the games are just coming thick and fast these days. But this is Real Madrid, we're used to this. There is nothing new here. But yeah, like And back to Girona, like now we look at our team, like what we saw against Man City, and to looking forward to the game on Sunday. We can see that we
Right.
have Lucas Vasquez back. Of course, Rudiger started and played really well against City as well, and then we have David Alaba is also back. So I feel like that should lead to a bit of shuffling of the team. in and out, and considering that we know that Jude also is out suspended. So I don't know. What do you think? What kind of shuffling are you expecting to see across this game?
I don't expect Alaba to start, not on Ancelotti, but if he would, then this would not be a terrible game to start him, right? Because it's not going to be incredibly intensely physical. So I
Mhm.
think this would be a fairly easy game for him to start. I feel like Fran Garcia would play left back because he has been taking up that left back position in the league as of late.
Yeah.
Raul essentially keeps his place after another tremendous performance. Um, if Vasquez is back, then give him that spot. But again, you can't expect Vasquez to play the big ones. So I would still bench him for like the big games. Um, in midfield, you would see if Valverde is not playing at right back, then he goes into midfield with Ceballos and I believe Modric. Modric would be well suited for this game.
So if I
And then
understand correctly, you're putting Federico Valverde as a right back, right?
no, no. If Vasquez is back, then I would let him play this game, but I would not trust him to play at right back in like a bigger game. You
I
get what I
see.
mean? So
I
if we're
mean,
going,
this begs the question though, like, I mean, okay, let's give flowers where it's due. Like, Dani Ceballos has been phenomenal. You
yeah,
understand? And I said it even like, after the first game, although he gave away a penalty, I still felt like he was a really good, it was a really good performance from him, even when you include the penalty, which is a negative, right? Even with that, it was a really good performance from Dani Ceballos. But then
right.
Federico Valverde is the best central midfielder that we have. Playing him as a right back takes away a lot from that. Of course, like, yeah, okay, it was a really good performance against Man City and all that. But when you look at the game that Man City had, like, there was literally no midfield presence. You get what I'm trying to say?
I get it.
So because of that, like, you were not able to, see the lack of, I don't know, physicality, or I don't know, lack thereof, or the presence or lack of it from that game. But I do think when you go into like games, especially for instance when we're gonna play Atletico Madrid, I feel like we need to have Federico Valverde in the middle of the park.
Fair
Otherwise, we
enough.
get overrun.
The way I see it, as long as Valverde is in the team, as long as he is in the playing 11, he is going to find a way to contribute in a way that he sees fit and a way that the manager sees fit. Uh, like he's a player that's so versatile. Like he can do anything, bro. If he's at right back, he's up there contributing at on the right side of midfield. He's running into the box. He's going out wide into those channels, making a cross, and then going all over back. To start all over again in defense. So with that much stamina and with that much ability, I feel like you've got to have him okay in his best position, okay, but if you're lacking a right back of that standard in Dani Carvajal, and then you don't have somebody who's defensively secure behind him, who's Lucas Vasquez, right, then you're losing out on a lot when it comes to defensive security. Because ask ourselves, why do we play Mendy and left back, right? And when the big games come around, we know he's not gonna offer nothing when we go forward, right? We've already seen the light with Fran Garcia. He starts most of the league games. He starts most of the cup games. But we need that defensive security when it comes to Mendy. So for that reason alone, I feel way too assured of Fede Valverde when he's at right back. I don't miss him as much now in midfield because Jude Bellingham, Danny Ceballos, all these guys are really, really, on the top of their game. But yeah, that's just the way I see it. And you might be right about specific games like say Atleti. Yeah, we need midfield presence. Man City was far more direct, back and forth, back and forth. Uh, but yeah, that's just the way I look at it. I would be comfortable going in with him at right back.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Actually, we have a comment here as well from William James saying, I disagree. The hole at right back is bigger than the hole in the midfield. I
Yeah.
refuse to watch a game with Vasquez at right back now. That's quite interesting, because I feel like for all the crap we are giving Lucas Vasquez, I feel like it's not his fault. He's been thrown into the situation. Everybody know what Vasquez is. Everybody knows the limitations and advantages that Lucas Vasquez provides to the team. So when Vasquez gets left in the dust, it's nothing new. It's something that's come to be expected. You understand? So the team planning, as we've all said a lot of times, has been, quite interesting, considering that we also had January to have the chance, reinforce, but we chose not to. It's
Yeah.
it's it's quite interesting. So now the point now becomes if we get one suspension, you understand, then we're also in trouble again.
True.
This goes, into that. And so that's the reason why I just, I don't know, it's a bit interesting, but there is nothing to do. But again, Lucas Vasquez sometimes, finds a way to surprise us, like coming clutch in the big games, in the big moments, Let's not forget the games against Barcelona and what is not. But again, he's a liability on defense, as you rightly pointed. So there is, there is nothing to do about that. But yeah, it is what it is, but one thing we've seen this season is that, there are some of these, youngsters who have the potential to step up. Raul Asensio,
Right.
this guy has come in and big time, literally stepped up into, he looks like a seasoned professional who has been played for years and years and years, you understand? So maybe, I don't know, he might serve as a precursor, to Carlo Ancelotti to actually, look inwards for certain solutions rather than, choosing to play people out of position constantly. But this is, Carlo, and like this is what he doesn't do, like dealing with youngsters. And I understand, the game is a very, very, pressure cooker environment. Either you win today or and you lose tomorrow, you're out of the door. So, you're only as good as the game you're playing right now. So, well, it is what it is. Yeah, also we have Sunil in the chat to big up the panel. We've never won against Arsenal. That's what Arsenal fans are parading. And he's saying I know it will be tricky. Yeah, I know that I know it will be tricky, and also the game against Arsenal is a game that I also wanna get to play because I have a lot of Arsenal fans, and they for some reason
Right.
they kind of feel like they're I don't think there's a team that's never won shit and is as proud as Arsenal is, man. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
crazy. I don't even remember the last time they won the Premier League, man, bro.
When you think about it, yeah,
I mean, it's crazy. It's
it's like
crazy.
they're riding based of purely of vibes, right?
I mean,
That's
okay,
the
you can understand if a team is playing well and doing this, but come on, like there are levels to this. Like you can come to Real Madrid fans and be butting head with Real Madrid fans, bro. Like I mean,
yeah. The give us Madrid chance were a bit too much, but now they're definitely going to play one of the two Madrid teams. Hopefully, it'll be us.
yeah, hopefully it
Yeah.
will be obvious. It's gonna be quite interesting, yeah, But yeah, Urim James also was saying, let's see if Arsenal beats PSV first. That's true. Now they have no striker in the team, so that's going to be quite peak. And also Saka is going to be back at the end of March, so I think most
Right.
likely he might be missing, this tie as well. But it will be interesting to see how he comes back. Sunaid also was saying Arsenal fans are so confident they can beat us, bro. Yeah, that's the thing, man. I don't know, man. Like, yeah,
They need a
Arsenal
humbling,
fans.
a proper. Just because City aren't on their game this season, feel like it's given them liberty to take a lot more, than they credit than they're due for.
Yeah, that's true as
Because
well.
they beat City this season, and yeah,
Actually, I really wanted Arsenal, to win the title this season if City did not win. But right now, I just feel like nah, I mean,
it
Arsenal
doesn't
fans
feel
are
right.
just, Arsenal fans are. I mean, if they win the title, bro, we wouldn't hear the end of it, honestly. So I think it's just better, that they continue to lose out on the title. But I just feel I
Right.
actually don't feel too confident with Liverpool. That's why, when you were asking me earlier about Liverpool, honestly, like I have not been convinced by Liverpool at all this season. I just feel like, so things fall into place and, there are teams that like they're good, but they're not great. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Like
Hmm.
I feel like Liverpool is a good team, but it's not a great team, honestly. But yeah, let's not jump ahead of the gun. Let's just see what happens first, with the game against Atletico Madrid, because I feel like that's one of the worst draws we could have gotten. Well, yeah, I think when the time comes, we'll talk more about that. So
Yeah.
yeah, going back to the game, I kind of agree with the lineup that you were mentioning. With Lucas Vasquez, Fran Garcia on the other flank as well, and then
Yeah.
Raul Asensio and Tony Rudiger as well. Marshall the center of the defense. Of course, Thibaut in goal. But what I kind of like, I expect to be different is I think Luka Modric starting this game. I kind of feel like we're
Same
gonna
here.
go. What's it called? But actually, because I was actually thinking maybe this would be a time to give a player like Arda Güler a chance. But then the
Yeah,
point is,
Arda because Brahim has gotten his fair share of chances over the past 1 month, and he doesn't really come up shop when he's starting. He doesn't give you the confidence that you would expect from him when he's starting.
when he starts, I agree. I've always said this. I feel like, Brahim is the best substitute that, exists in world football right now,
Exactly.
as
But
a
every time
star,
he's
right?
starting and either of Rodrigo or Vinicius is benched, yeah, of course he's giving you the work rate. But is he the difference maker in the final third? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
So yeah, Adegulu, yeah, you could potentially say. But at this point in the season, it feels like Ancelotti has forgotten about Arda and Endrick.
No,
That's
I
just
mean,
what
come on,
it feels
Hendrik
like.
came on in the City game. No, Hendrik came on in the City game,
Yeah, but
right?
still, like not significant in a 4 or 5 minutes here and there.
Nah, I mean, the point is, I don't know, man. Okay, anyways, the point is like
Especially Arda, bro.
there's a game against Sociedad, right? So it's a cup game, the semi-final, the first leg at the Danuet. I think maybe we might get to see Arda and Hendrik more in that game, most
Right.
likely, because the point is if they don't get more playing time in that game, they should just forget it. They're not gonna get playing time at all. At all, you know. That's just the thing. Unless if something happened in Barcelona and Atletico Madrid miraculously fall off, then similar to what happened at the end of last year where Arda got the run of a couple of games. So I think that's the only thing. Otherwise, impossible. Honestly, I'm telling you. But yeah, I do think, like I'm expecting to see a midfield of Chouameni, Camavinga, and Dani Ceballos. But this is wish. Because if you note here, I have left out Mr. Reliable Federico Valverde.
Yeah.
I hope they give him a time to rest. You understand? I hope they give him some rest. But I do think that's not going to happen. I
He's,
think I
he's
will
played every game this season. He's been involved in every game.
every game, either the cup, the league, the whatever it's called, every game. Honestly, I would have loved to see Federico Valverde get rested because, as we said, like Girona is not the best team right now. It's it's not the best. It's not as interesting as they were
Right.
last year. So I feel like we can be able to find a way past them. But I think Carlo would not give Federico Valverde that rest that he deserves. And I think up top, we're just gonna continue with the front three against Man City. It's gonna be Rodrigo Guez and Jude Bellingham. Oh, Jude is out. Sorry. Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Junior. I think that's the front three we're gonna see, and they will hope to continue that form that they've shown. But the issue here that I have is this, so we saw a different kind of front three or front four against Man City that we have not seen in a lot of games this season. I don't think we've seen in any game, in
Hmm.
the sense that the front three all of a sudden remembers that they're supposed to track back. Remember the concept of pressing.
Yeah.
You understand? It's like, I mean, we've seen games that these guys, it seems like they never even understand, like, the word pressing doesn't even exist in the dictionary. And then all of a sudden, the big games come into town, and these guys are actually, pressing, like coordinated press. These guys are actually tracking back. These guys are, putting a shift. But then my issue is this, like, we're now level on point with Barcelona. Barca ahead due to the head to head. And
Head
you
to
have
head.
pointed out the game, when you look at the game against Osasuna, for instance, there is the red card and all, but we shouldn't be winning that game. You understand?
Right.
When you look at the game against Espanyol, okay, let's go Madrid, I will give you that. When you look at the game against Espanyol, we should be winning those games. You understand? But here we are. You understand? Here we are in this
Yeah.
reason because, like, I don't know why, but this has been happening year and year. Like, I don't know, it's difficult that it seems it's difficult to motivate the players for these lesser La Liga games. Hence the problem that we are in. We were 8 points ahead at a certain point. Now 8 points
Right.
is raised.
Right. I feel like La Liga games have always been different in that regard because teams in La Liga mostly come up with a very structured, rigid, game plan, and they do it for 90 minutes straight. They're not there to, they might be there to take 1 point off you. Teams in the Champions League are never going to come to take 1 point.
Yeah.
I think there's a very drastic and stark mentality difference when it comes to that. Because La Liga teams, like I said, more structured, more rigid in their approach, which is always more difficult for a team like Real Madrid to play through. And even against Man City, you could see how how motivated the players were. Even in the first 10-15 minutes, you could see how much they were pressing. And then they carried that on throughout the game, right? We didn't stop pressing. We didn't stop staying in shape after the second goal either. But I feel like that had to do a little bit with how uh, you know how would I say it, with how ineffective City were with the ball, right? Because a couple seasons ago, we came out with a very bold approach against City, and they played right through us because they were on the top of their game, right? And then everybody was criticizing Ancelotti's approach because why do you need to press? It's City, right? They're always going to be great on the ball. You don't have to, you can't get the ball off them. But now all of a sudden, that same approach against the same team is being regarded in a positive light because the other team is not as good on the ball. So I feel like it's a very opposition-oriented approach that you can't suddenly deploy in every game. You can't suddenly, like, you don't feel the need to press in La Liga games against Atleti, or teams like that. But it's a very game to game thing that will change. I think Girona could be a good team to test that against. But if we see something that we haven't seen before in the entirety of the season, then that's obviously come from the manager, and it's very particular in the way it's been instructed to the player, that I want you to go out and press in this game, right? So I don't know if we're gonna continue to see more of that, but definitely in the big games, you can see a shift in morale.
Yeah, that's very true. There's a different mentality towards approaching big games. And I think this is not something that, like is on Carlo or these guys. It's something that predates them. I mean, there is a reason why Cristiano won, I think, just two league titles in his whole stay at Real Madrid, right? So
Right,
this is the point. Like, I mean, how can someone win, like four Champions Leagues and win just two league titles? I mean, that's absolutely crazy. You understand?
right,
So, but this is the thing, like even you can look at the likes of even Luka Modric, the most decorated players. I think Luka has just four league titles, or is it three or four? Four, yeah. He has
for
four
you.
league titles. You understand? So it's quite strange, But when you look at this guy has six Champions Leagues, how is that even possible? So it's crazy. But this is just it's something that I think has been there for a long time and continues to linger. And I think we just will keep wondering, like, why that is the case. But yeah, let's take some more comments and then we can just give our predictions and wrap this up. So yeah, we have Random Guy 101, shout out to you, man. He says Real versus Atleti is a great tie. These Atleti escaped from us narrowly two times this season. Now Madrid can properly smash Atleti. And Sunayde was actually saying Real Atleti isn't as straightforward as many think. Then he was talking about like we lost the away leg in 2016, 2017, although we won that. And Rimjis actually was highlighting that against Atletico Madrid, work rate is very important. That's the thing, like they're gonna like work us to the death, more or less. And James was actually saying, I think, to our point earlier about like Diaz being the best sub available. He was like saying like if he doesn't mind if Diaz starts, plus it's harder to get the ball off of Diaz, they'll have to foul him. And yeah, random guy 101 says like Carlo, just don't mess up the lineup. Just have to include Fede as a right back and Asensio as a CB. Funny thing is that Madrid have played 40 matches this season, but the first leg against City was sorry, the second leg against City was our first game where we played good through the whole 90 minutes. Let me just read that again, Sile, and get your reaction to it. It's like so, like random guy 101 was saying, the funny thing is
Uh-huh.
Madrid have played 40 plus matches this season. But the
Right.
second leg against Man City was our first game where we played good throughout 90 minutes.
Where we played what?
Where we played good for the whole 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's just Real Madrid, isn't it? You pick up any season from throughout history, bro. Like, especially since the time I've been watching, we haven't always been great throughout games, and that's competitive football, but also Real Madrid's mentality. Sometimes you can afford to let off and be the secondary team in phases of the game to preserve energy and to play the game right and to manage the situation. But City, like I said, it was just a different situation. We had to beat them, and City just weren't good enough. That's part of the deal. It's part of why we looked so good that day. Let me tell you, it was less to do with how informed we were. Obviously, we were absolutely reckless uh, against what was like a shattered City defense. So let's not blow it out of proportion. Is all I'm saying. It was the first time, like you said, it was the first time this season. So it had to be against a team that was, a shadow of their former selves.
Oh, that's a nice angle to look at it from as well, like yeah. And that's the thing, Real Madrid is always a team of, the moments rather than, like I don't know, of a complete 90,
Yeah,
it's
consistency. Yeah.
yeah, that's always what we've done. And we always have these players who love, to hug the spotlights and come clutch at this, very important moments. So they're littered throughout our history. But anyways, like, let's get back, to the Girona game and just slowly round things up. So, what would be your prediction for the game on Sunday?
I would predict another 3-0. We have beaten them 3-0, 4-0, and 4-0 in the last three meetings, and
Yep.
we did lose to them 4-2 the time before that. But yeah, I don't expect to have any problems with Girona. Like I said, their attack is incredibly like who the guys that they have in attack. These guys, Stuani and Porto. I've been seeing them play since what 2018. Remember?
Yep, 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 yep.
Uh, so yeah, but they do have like a bit of youthful flair in other positions, Donny van de Beek, Brian Hill, and the likes of that.
Yeah.
But uh, yeah, an exciting team overall with like a good blend of experience and youthfulness. But I don't expect them to score against us. Um, yeah, that's just the way I look at it. Three nil. Yeah.
Yeah, man, actually, I kind of, I also see a commanding victory from Real Madrid. I think like a 4-1 victory, which, we're gonna consider one, like either it's like Porto or like, like the Hills or I don't know, even I think they have this new, I don't know if it's Ukrainian or something like that. They have this new Eastern European striker as well. I can't remember his name, but yeah, I do think, like as we saw against City as well, Real Madrid keeping a clean sheet is, something that's very difficult. But yeah, I do think it's going to be a comfortable victory for Real Madrid on Sunday, a 4-1 victory. But yeah, unfortunately, we're gonna
Yeah,
lose.
it was Victor Sigankov,
Ah, okay.
and yeah, he's injured.
He's injured.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. All right then. All right, everyone in the chat. Thanks for keeping us company. Urim James, Random Guy 101, Sunaid, and yeah, thanks for keeping the company. Thanks for letting the chat be a two-way street, and it was fun having you guys with us. And yeah, the podcast is powered by the fan networks of Talksport. Just check out our sponsors, Manscaped. Using the code LBR20 for all the male grooming items and loungewear that you might need. And don't forget to follow our partners on Instagram, Real Madrid Committee. Check them out. They actually have some really nice graphics about Real Madrid, especially during the match days. Just give them a like as well. And yeah, shout out to my co-pilot today, Sahel. And with that, we sign out by saying Hala Madrid.
Real Madrid, guys.